but I'm gonna let you drive. I know you've given us a lot of different names and sort of storylines to follow here. You want to start with Jeremiah Smith or DJ Lagway?
Let's start with Jeremiah Smith.
Okay.
I think that's the more likely one, and obviously the #1 player in the country. Kind of a Julio Jones clone type receiver. Haven't had a receiver rated this high in a long time. Committed to Ohio State. It's been committed to Ohio State for a good long while now. Multiple visits to FSU, multiple visits to Miami. Plays down there by Danny. And I mean, this is going to be a really interesting one to follow. I think there's a real chance something happens here. Maybe he sticks with Ohio State, but I think Florida State is solidly in this. And I can't completely discount Miami either. So this is going to be a real fun battle. I'm not just trying to make up drama here. Like it's on a show. If we're like, hey, there's nothing there, we try to say there's nothing there. But Jeremiah Smith is a stud, and a lot of schools have put a lot of time and effort into this one. So we'll see how it unfolds.
What's the overall Ohio State class looking like? We didn't mention this on like the previous segment, but the way that I heard it, if you run the class calculator for Georgia and take out Dylan Raiola, the 5-star quarterback, Georgia falls from the #1 class to the #1 class.
Yeah, correct. Georgia also may flip another defensive line from the Gators down the stretch. So, yeah, I played around with it this morning. I was on CBS HQ. Tully hit me up. He's like, "Is there any way we can get?" I was like, "No, well, not a realistic way, right? If FSU flips Jeremiah Smith and LJ McCray, which I definitely don't expect, and then like holds on to everybody, and then also 2 mystery prospects materialize, then maybe." But
it's dogs #1 is like almost in Sharpie.
Yeah, exactly. They're like minus 1,000 for sure to hold on to #1. The real race is for #2 down the stretch. So that'll be pretty interesting. You mentioned DJ Lagway, quarterback from Texas. He's committed to the Gators. A lot of people think that he is the best quarterback in the country. And I think at this point, if I had to bet on it, and you guys know I'm a betting man, I would bet on him sticking with Florida. I would say I'm like somewhat confident, but like I wouldn't want to put a lot of money on that. A&M certainly making a charge. Not trying to negatively recruit the Gators here, but again, like their season was a disaster, and the recruiting class does seem to be falling apart a decent bit. Sticking with Florida, they have a 5-star safety, Xavier Filsaime, who is from Texas. He actually is probably going to make a visit to Texas, and that would be another blow for the Gators class. That one I kind of think is more likely than Lagway. Sticking with Florida again, #2 defensive lineman in the country, LJ McCray has visited FSU, has also met with Auburn. Miami's still in there a little bit. I know at one point Georgia. I think Auburn is the most likely flip destination if it happens. I think he probably sticks with the Gators. Sticking with Florida again.
Oh, no. No.
I'm dead serious. Yeah, this is like, I know they've already lost a couple, but like this has a real meltdown potential to where Napier is just a total lame duck entering next year, and then they'll get a new AD and figure it out, unless you want to make a change just late in the cycle. But Amaris Williams, 4-star defensive lineman. Ohio State is involved, Georgia, and a little bit, I believe, of Auburn as well. So, yeah.
So Trevor Etienne might be going to Georgia from the transfer portal, and the recruiting class is falling apart. I mean, that's our pets' heads are falling off. This is
equal opportunity. So people don't accuse me of being a homer. Florida State is absolutely, I think, in a battle to hold on to 5-star safety KJ Bolden. Again, Auburn making a real charge there, as is Georgia. He's a guy from the state of Georgia. And then 4-star defensive lineman Armando Blunt, who this is the guy that like Miami got the rock out for. Miami's still hard charging there, trying to flip him back into the class. So a lot of Sunshine State drama down the stretch here, which I guess is always the case, right?
Yeah, sun rises, sun sets. A bunch of high school prospects from Florida are waiting out to the last minute with a bunch of suitors.
It's just different at our state, man. Like these kids do crazy stuff.
This is a great segment that kind of just drives home why I don't really pay attention to recruiting classes until after signing day.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't totally blame you.
A headline from earlier in the week, 5-star wide receiver Ryan Williams is reclassified to join the Alabama 2024 cycle. What do we make of Williams, and what's he going to be able to do for the Crimson Tide joining that group?
Assuming he joins Alabama.
No way.
Yes way.
So he could reclassify and flip, you're saying?
He could reclassify and do a little flip action.
Might be why he's reclassifying.
Yeah, could be. Auburn is the other one to watch there. So at this point, if I had to guess, I think I would stick with Alabama, but it's a total guess on my part. Auburn has been Auburn's been confident that they would have a shot for a while, and everybody knew he was attempting to reclassify. So that's not really a surprise. It's just it's something we have to discuss now that he did it. Silky smooth receiver, really gets in and out of his breaks extremely well. A guy is consistently going to get open, catches the ball well. Just a super nice player to have in your class. And yeah, I mean, if Auburn lands him, I mean, that is a bunch of receiver talent coming to the Plains. Don't really know who's going to throw him passes, but we'll have to see.
Come on, man. Dr. Bo got it figured out.
Think about it. If Auburn strikes out in the transfer portal at quarterback, they're going to have a whole lot of bag to throw around at people, right?
True. That's true. That's true.
Unless you think Peyton Thorne can play, which I don't.
I mean, Peyton Thorne, let's see, at Michigan State, he had Keon Coleman, he had Jaden Reed, he had some pretty good players, and he did have the one good season, and then it kind of fell apart.
And yes, I am holding for the chat. I am holding a spatula.
Yeah. Cody mentioned in the Cover 3 tailgate.
It's flip season.
Yeah, it's flip season. You got the spatula ready.
Yeah.
Tom, Danny, what sort of storylines or questions we got for Bud while we're sitting here previewing the last week before the early signing period opens?
Colorado making any headway?
Yeah, somewhat. So Jordan Seaton, 5-star offensive tackle, is like an actual Louis piece for Colorado. Like, he's a really, really nice offensive tackle. I think a lot of people think he's probably the best offensive tackle in the country. Like, that's one that I think you have to take note of. Like, that is absolutely cooking on that, like, Travis Hunter level of get for them. Not in love with the guys they've taken so far in the transfer portal, but realistically, I think if you get a bunch of guys with experience, Colorado should be able to upgrade its offensive line from where it was last year. So I think they were pretty realistic with like the quality of player they could get in the portal and went out and got it. So I think you have to give them a lot of credit for that.
We've talked about all the top, programs, guys at the top of the rankings. Who's the one program that in this class so far isn't what you would consider to be a blue blood, but you think kind of has a sneaky good class?
All right, so I'll give you one here that a lot of fans think I hate their team, which I don't. I think South Carolina's got a really nice class, and I think that's the second year in a row they've done a nice job at the high school level. I think all of us on this show unanimously went under on their win total, but we said it was just kind of a brief pause because they're doing a nice job at the high school level, and I think they really are. So that could be 2 classes in a row that they're stacking. And if you're in Knoxville or if you're in Gainesville, you don't love to see that, or Columbia. Right? It's like, damn it, like South Carolina, despite the fact that on the field stuff's not real good, they're still bringing in really nice players. So
Rocket Sanders also looking like he might end up showing up at South Carolina too. That could end up being that's an instant impact for the Gamecocks moving forward.